Well. It is the Pale Crew coming at you on the Side Quest. Let me hide this little bar. There we go. We are Team SideQuesting here, coming at you a little bit early, actually. I said coming at you 3 times now. We're going to talk about video games and stuff and things at sidequesting.com. You can find us there. You can like, review, click on all the links, and do all that fun stuff that you're supposed to do for podcasts on YouTube and at home. Please do it. Please. Joining us is the awesome crewmates, JJ Holder.
Yay.
He's so happy. Is it a Mario Kart shirt?
Yeah, it's the one from.
Dude, yeah.
Let's see. I think one of the sleeves has the. No, not that one. This sleeve has the Universal logo.
Dude, and you were there. I can't wait.
They sell whatever cup you want. They make a shirt of it there. It's cool.
I can't wait. I'm going in a month. A month from I get to Florida in a month from today. And then this person in the corner over here, the one, the only, the beautiful, now in full HD, but still pale, SideQuest HD remake.
Hi, I don't have anything on my shirt.
I'm glad you didn't choose like HD Rebirth, but it's all good. and this person right here, who's not in HD, who's not remaking, he's just on the phone as usual because his poor computer is crapping out.
Well, so here's the deal: computer is back. Computer's back, baby.
Woohoo!
But it's 6:00, and I have 2 children, and so it's time to cook dinner. I probably should have said no. This is a bad idea.
Well, we're gonna crash through this episode quickly because we got to actually record another shorty right after this one about something. You guys can just log onto the website on Tuesday. You'll see what that is.
Yeah, tomorrow you'll know what we're talking about.
Tomorrow, you know what we're talking about. Before then, though, I do want to give a shout out and a thank you to all of our Patreon members. The executive member right now, Punkdefied, Punkdefied. I'm actually hanging with him all throughout Summer Game Fest. He's going to be my +1 potentially on the Giant Bomb couch. I'm inviting him to come hang with me there. So, see the kind of stuff you get if you're a Patreon executive member. You get all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah.
That's thank you again.
Reason. If you
the only reason,
producer,
we're still trying to get the game night going, by the way. So. We'll figure out a game here, hopefully the next couple of days, so we can set something up. Thank you to the producer, Stefan Swanland. Check out Stefan's latest review, by the way. Not only is he a client of SideQuest, he's also a reviewer. And he's another piece coming up, maybe even today. Zero, the prototype, Exagenous, and Jeff Grubb. Thank you.
Calling them clients is crazy.
That should have been what I labeled the tiers, clients.
Wait, Jeff Grubb, the guy that owns Giant Bomb?
The guy that owns Giant Bomb. Whoa! If he kind of owns us now in a weird way because he's using our Patreon.
Oh, you think about it. If you think about it, Giant Bomb kind of like SideQuesting is kind of like a subsidiary of Giant Bomb.
In a way, yeah. I will actually say we've now had 2 people who are regulars on SideQuesting-ish head over to Giant Bomb. Jeff Grubb, obviously.
Yeah.
And we had Ben
Pack.
Ben Pack, yep. He was on SideQuesting. He wrote a whole article and then got hired into Giant Bomb. It was awesome. Who's next? None of us. We have actual lives.
I don't have the energy to keep up with that crew.
I
don't think me and Dan can exist in the same room together. I think that's a bad idea. Not that we be enemies. I just think we're too much alike.
You're too much alike.
I just have a life outside of this, so.
True. Yes, we kind of do. That's why we're the side quest is for that very specific reason.
Yeah,
we are side questing.
This isn't the main line. We've all got our own main quests going.
Yes, we got our own main quest. But I did want to start off with the story because Zach and I were chatting a little bit about the upcoming Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering card pack. I am like back into Magic the Gathering because of the Final Fantasy thing. It's like sucked me back in, reading up on these cards. I've been like, I almost said I've been playing with myself, But I mean, whatever. I've been playing games against
There
myself.
are children present,
There are
Alan.
children. I've been playing. Taylor's muted for a reason. Maybe he should mute me.
Actually, I'm talking about Zach, but
Oh, that too. So I've been playing a little bit more often, and I don't have the time, unfortunately. Like Zach is very fortunate to be able to find a local place to go to and play. I don't have that time. I got stupid freaking parental duties on the weekends. But
Zach
duties,
knows exactly.
duties.
Zach knows exactly where I'm at too, right?
Yeah,
now.
yeah, exactly.
I hit him up
Both
the other
of
day.
y'all are
Nice.
in the magic hole, and
Yes.
That
The
fucking
magic
panel-
hole. I'm calling it the magic hole. Okay.
That panel
No,
ruined me.
no. Do not call it the magic hole. That is off limits.
SideQuesting's magic hole.
No,
Yeah.
Dude,
no.
that's your regular feature, Zach.
No.
SideQuesting's magic hole.
Dolly, you should stop playing Magic by yourself and just play Arena. There's like a mobile app.
Dude,
and
Arena's
computer.
great.
Yeah, I'll
It's
play
also
Arena.
on
That's a
Steam-
good idea.
Steam
I am
Deck.
playing
Just
it
play it
on
on there.
I
Okay.
am playing it on my phone between things at this point.
Yeah,
'Cause
how is mobile gaming guy not playing Magic on the go?
Yeah,
that was the first question I sent Zach. It's like, hey, is Arena like a good place for a person that absolutely first forgotten everything about Magic the Gathering?
Yeah, no, it kind of assumes that you're new to the game, so it does a good job of teaching you.
I am
And
re-downloading
also-
Magic the Gathering Arena.
And there's
there you
also
go.
like
Boop.
robots you can play against and
Yes.
stuff. And then so like you can also just play unranked against people. Like it's the same thing as playing it in real
Cool.
life.
Cool. I will be playing this. Oh yeah. Oh, and he's outside, even better, dude.
He's touching grass.
He is grilling and
Yeah,
chilling.
we're
This is
listening.
awesome.
We're grilling. We the dogs out here. We're throwing ball for the dog. Come here, you
The
give me the ball.
dogs out here. The dogs out here. This is awesome. But I made the point. I'm like, yeah, I'm really excited. I bought a Final Fantasy VI and a Final Fantasy VII Commander deck. I'm like, because I love those. Final Fantasy VI I wanted to get for sure. That's my game. And Final Fantasy VII I got because I've been playing Remake, and I thought I'll dive into that too. And I know they have other Commander decks. And I took a look at my order as we were talking about it yesterday on Discord. I took a look at my order this morning, and I'm like, crap. I bought 2 Final Fantasy VIIs, and this is what happened. I figured Final Fantasy VII, the Commander deck, was going to be the hot one. I'm like, I'm going to get this deck right now. I'm buying it. Boop, ordered it. Cool. And then I'm like, okay, I got to get myself a deck. Wait. Did I just buy I think I just bought the Final Fantasy VI deck. I'm going to buy the Final Fantasy VII deck. Boop. And I'm like, cool. I thought I had bought two different decks in grandpa mode.
Bullshit.
I bought the same deck twice. And so I didn't happen to literally check today. And I'm like, you got to be kidding. Or last night, whatever. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I bought 2 of the same. So it's a Dolly mode event. But let's get into...
I mean, Final Fantasy VII is going to be the most popular, though, right?
It will, but six is my jam, though, because I just love 6.
I just meant for like resellability, like in terms of being able to, like, and you even said like to trade if possible, like that you're not going to have a problem putting it out there.
The thing about it is like the IP is there, but it also is Magic cards on top of that.
True.
So no matter what, you're going to be able to sell it. And you're gonna be able to make money.
Yeah, and then plus, God forbid, like the good cards are in the Final Fantasy VII set, then you're kind of golden.
And that's what they do is they'll put staples that are in commander decks or like in like the good decks. They put those cards in there, so like you'll have good stuff, but because they printed so much in a commander deck, they won't be worth as much of that print, but you'll still have good cards. So I mean, like it's gonna be great either way. Like it doesn't really,
I'm hoping there's gonna be a lot of these boosters, though. I really want to get these boosters and keep collecting and like.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, I will say Magic is like the one card game that isn't like scalped really. Like you can just kind of walk into any store and buy Magic packs.
Cool.
Yeah.
But pulling singles for Magic is just tough. Like
that's nuts.
No, it's horrible. That's why they have collector boosters collector boosters have a higher rate of having higher rarity cards, and they cost like $20 a pack. So if you want to do that, you can do that. I don't know.
They did the breakdown at the panel.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. And Zach will be playing it during the pre-release weekend. I'll actually be playing it during pre-release weekend as well. I'm going to be playing it with some of the creators and some of the folks that we saw on the panel, JJ.
Yeah.
I'll be playing it with them. So if you guys have any questions for me to ask them, I will go ahead and fire away. But let's get into a little.
Ask them where Kenny Omega is right now.
Ask them where. Let me, which is pretty funny because I was trying. Did you guys Double or Nothing last night? JJ and I were hollering back and forth because Speedball came out. Mike Bailey's came out as dressed in Balatro gear. It was so cool. And then I found we found the guy who actually designed it for him, and I immediately posted at Grub and
you posted at me almost at the exact same time. I posted it in the Discord.
Yeah, and I posted at Grub. I'm like Jeff, you got to get this. You got to get him on the couch, and everybody was like, Bailey liked it, Jeff liked it. I'm like, okay, let's get this thing going, and also have me on the couch at the same time. Anywho,
Kenny Omega was straight up in his gear was
Marvel
vs. Capcom.
That Marvel vs. Capcom.
Even his intro pose was Cap's
it was awesome.
taunt. It was great. Yeah.
It was. I'm so glad they let them just kind of have fun with that stuff. So that's cool. Marvel, notoriously owned by WB, which is who runs the AEW TV program.
Are you high as shit?
No.
Marvel is owned by WB?
No, because WB owns TNT and has a contract with AEW.
Marvel is owned by Disney.
I know. I said okay. Never mind. I was making a joke. Let's get into a little bit of news.
Battled man joke.
Yeah, it was a battle man joke. It really was. Speaking of things being back, baby, not just me in Magic the Gathering, but Fortnite is back on iOS. And of course, shot to the top of every freaking thing out there, every chart.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's too early for Dolly jokes.
They're getting Apple's kind of getting slammed on this one. They ain't doing so hot.
I was gonna say that. I think it's actually a really good conversation to have for that specific reason because they're getting slammed. They held off on letting Fortnite back in because of the whole alternate payment methods, and then Epic obviously wants to have their own store on iOS. So Apple's kind of getting slammed, and I mean, and Android as well, right? Android, and to some extent as well, is getting sort of the same stuff happening or similar stuff happening. But Android's Apple's definitely getting the brunt of this. So it's the return of Fortnite, which is going to be huge because there are that is the whole market 13 and under is Fortnite on iOS. So that's here.
Has Roblox been on iOS this whole time?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
So yep. Roblox is just that's fine. We'll pay the Apple tax for
We'll eat the Apple tariff. We'll eat the tariff.
Yeah.
You gotta think that Roblox is sitting there waiting on the wings and being like,
oh, for sure.
They're happy that Epic is taking the heat for them so that they can swoop in afterwards.
Totally. As soon as that gets going, Roblox is going to do it, and you're going to have the domino effect going on all the way down. So, there it is. Fortnite top free game. Sorry, you can check it on yourself.
I mean, that's recency bias. I'd be shocked if that remains after first. I mean, maybe I'm stupid, but.
It was on there for a long time, even when it wasn't, when it was out for a long time. Yeah,
it was 2 or 3 consistently, even leading right up to it always Minecraft, Roblox, and Fortnite were always fighting for number one spot.
Yeah.
On Android, which is for Taylor and I.
Yeah.
Roblox is number 5. Fortnite isn't even on here.
Wow.
The number one
Fortnite's allowed.
Yeah.
And been allowed.
The number one is Block Blast.
Block Blast is number 2 on iOS. Then Dunk City Dynasty, is that up there as well?
No.
Oh.
Rip to a real one, by the way.
Yeah, rip to a real
one. The guy from Duck Dynasty died. He was 75.
Dunk City Dynasty, not Duck
Dynasty. I know. I was making like that was like a segue.
You're doing a dally joke.
Yeah, the segue.
Yeah. The only reason I know that he died is because I've been doing the Bing rewards where you have to search for shit in order to get money. So here's my saga. Here's what happened. I gotta move because I gotta flip chicken. So my I was playing when my computer was dead. I was playing Claire Obscure Expedition 33 using NVIDIA GeForce Now.
Okay.
But GeForce Now doesn't give you games, right? It just lets you stream using NVIDIA hardware on the cloud. So I still had Game Pass. But Game Pass is where they put the game on Game Pass, which was a killer grab by Microsoft, by the way.
Sure, I've been playing it, yeah.
And so I kind of got like stuck in there, and I'm at the point where like time is more valuable than money, and I had 12 hours in the game on Game Pass. So I was DMing Zach about this question. I was like, all right, do I buy it on Steam or do I just resub to Game Pass? He was like, well, one's $50 and one's like $12. So how about you just do like some second grade math, my man? And so I was like, yeah, that's fair. And then plus Doom Dark Ages just came out, and that's obviously on Game Pass. So I resubbed to Game Pass, and then it was like, hey, by the way, and I don't know how I ended up on the Quest tab, but I did, and it's like you get reward points and 1 month of Game Pass PC. Yes, that's me. Sorry, my daughter is yelling at me. And so
doesn't like your Game Pass choice is really what it is.
Yeah, probably. She's more of a console gamer. You get it. It was like 77.50 reward points to get a month of PC Game Pass. But the only way that you can really hit it on a month-to-month basis is by doing like also the search rewards. But I'll tell you what. That's how I knew about the guy from Duck Dynasty died. It's
nice.
75.
Nice.
So I feel like in the know. That's how I found out about Emmanuel Macron getting like pushed in the face by his wife as he exited that plane. You guys see that headline?
Yeah, it's a headline.
I'm here to bring you the world news segment of the SideQuesting podcast, and brought to you by Bing. If you guys could just like tuck me in 77.50 points on a monthly basis, that would be sick. That'd be a great month-to-month benefit.
Like
maybe if you get enough.
Maybe
if you get enough, you can buy whenever it comes out the A24 adaptation of Elden Ring, which is now.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot that they did that. You guys think this chicken's ready yet?
Dude, what? Check that out. That looks
more
good.
Minutes.
Yeah, you might. JJ, do you like it burned? Anyways, Elden Ring movie adaptation by A24.
Cool. Green Knight 2 coming soon.
Yeah.
This is like this is the perfect guy to do this adaptation because he's the master of taking an original story and just not doing the original story, but doing the vibes of the original story.
Especially with something like Elden Ring that is so like open-ended and like it's the game is what you accidentally made the game become, not
The other thing I found on Reddit, of all places, the front page of the internet. I don't know if you guys know this.
Heard of the internet, yeah.
But on Reddit, he was doing an AMA like a couple years ago, and he's a pretty big Elden Ring fan. So he's actually played the source material, which is not normal for him. Because like I said, his film adaptations of things, he will, like for the Annihilation movie, he said he read it once when he was like really high, and then he wrote the script based off of what he remembered it being. So it's like, so it gets the vibe right, but doesn't get the story right. The story in the book is completely different. Anyways, but he's kind of the perfect guy to do the vibe thing.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, what a crazy way! What a crazy way to adapt Annihilation,
Right?
which is a fucking bonkers ass book series, like in its own right.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, I got high and read it once, and then wrote a script. That's fucking insane.
It's not a bad movie.
Honestly, I think giving it the high screen ratings treatment would probably be even go over better on Elden Ring than it would on Annihilation.
For sure. Definitely don't get George R. R. Martin on it because he'll never get it done. Another fun one.
No, that's the thing though. The thing with him is it's not.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing he will get done.
He will get done because it's not.
Prestige physical. Here, let me switch over to this one. Actually, share this tab. The thank goodness you're here. Lost in Cult is making these sort of these physical editions. Also, Excavation of Hobbs Barrow and Immortality in varying degrees of anywhere from like 1,000 to like 5,000 editions of each. But actually doing. Remember Limited Run? They're doing what Limited Run used to be, which is actually making these
limited editions.
Limited editions. It's pretty cool. I've got to say, for those of us who, JJ, like to collect these types of things, I would actually, to be honest, that thank goodness you're here does look pretty dope, and I can see myself.
I am eyeballing the Hobbs Barrow one. I know I reviewed that one. Okay. I really loved that game. These remind me of just a second. I got something that these remind me of.
Okay, JJ's going to get some vinyl.
Grab what I'm thinking of because I have something in mind.
I'm hoping whatever you're grabbing, you're not going to show it because that could be illegal this time of day. We're before 9 p.m. All right.
Yeah. They remind me of like A24 puts out these. Really nice,
that's what I was.
Yes.
Like these. They're fabric sort of. Books.
Yeah.
I've got Midsummer and Stop Making Sense.
Nice.
And these look exactly like these, which is a good way of doing these sort of like high-end collectible versions of something. Because when you finish yours.
I was gonna say that I'm like an anti-buying like physical thing guy.
Yeah,
I like only buy physical things of stuff that I really love. So like I'll buy it and put it on my shelf. So I'm like, okay, here is my Hereditary disc. Here is my Speed Racer disc. I'll only buy really specific things, and if they put out a game that is something important to me, like I'll get it because it's something that I would like want. So I feel like this niche is like really cool because people who are like JJ who will buy whatever are gonna want it. But then people who are like me,
full shade intended.
No, but it's true. Yeah.
I try my best. I want the when it's like a special edition or a physical version. I've sort of like fallen into I want it to be different. I just don't want it to be a Switch box on the shelf. I wanted something fancy, which is why I like these, or like Limited Run does those goofy VHS boxes that I love, and I like steel books and digipacks, and like if I'm gonna get something, I want it to look fancy and different on the shelf. It's like it's boring when you just like Limited Run these. A lot of times we'll just like it's just the physical, because they also just make the physical versions of these like normal Switch and PS5 cases versions of these too, but like these are particularly the Hobbs Barrow art is really beautiful on these box sets. If you go to the actual website, they let you really kind of look that up.
It's cool.
I don't know anything about the Immortality. I never played that.
I started it for like 5 minutes and then I got sidetracked by something else and ended up
That's
but
a
this is cool.
Sam Barlow joint.
So these are cool. I always think this kind of stuff is great, and I do appreciate I remember JJ was all about that VHS tape at PAX East and really kind of digging that.
Dark Forces.
And I think again, I don't just want a Switch case. If I could buy something that used to be like an actual, like I'm not throwing shade at Limited Run because they're able to actually get games onto physical copies, but they're no longer limited. If you can buy it at Best Buy, like you can buy the majority Limited Run stuff at Best Buy. It's not limit. It's just standard run. It's what I would call it.
And they kind of like they commit to their name, but at the same time, I also don't want to have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to try to get a single video game. Like they used to.
It's one of those weird things. Like not to turn this into a conversation specifically about limited run, but when from a business perspective, right? If growth is a goal for a company, the only way that limited run can realistically increase anything about it is either to do a staggering amount of like quantity of different games, or to increase the availability significantly of the games that they do choose to do.
Right.
At least they make like certain versions super limited. Like they're like
the
ones that cost, like that Doom one that they just put out.
But like at the end of the day, aren't you just making limited editions at that point? I mean, they're not really doing limited run games. They're just doing limited edition games.
Yeah, they're unfortunately they're just committed to the name. They can't.
Right. I know. I mean, now there's brand cachet associated with it. But, it would have been interesting to see the alternate universe where they made the true alternate of like, this is truly a limited item, like almost like a sneakerhead version of video games where it's just actually a limited stock availability in perpetuity for like everything that they do, and to see it succeed would have been an interesting idea. But then again, I would have, if that's what they did, I would be over here lamenting, being like, why the fuck are these idiots creating stock shortages artificially, doing the dumbest thing imaginable, and I'd be lamenting that instead. So
it was cool in the early days because like at the very beginning it was just like nobody's making their Vita game a physical game, and that's sort of what their whole thing was. Like, we're just gonna make Vita games physical, and
or that Super NES version of Street Fighter or whatever that they made, that kind of stuff. Was always kind of cool. Okay, let's move on. We got a few games that we're gonna talk about. A couple games here and there. I'm gonna I'm gonna let JJ go first because you said yours was basically like a shorter game that and you can do a short presentation about. But JJ, you have been playing Maniac.
Yeah, it's an old piece. It's been on PC for a hot minute. It just came to consoles, and it's just it's like what if GTA kind of got like a Vampire Survivor kind of thing going for it?
My first thought was like up res to GTA 2.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. Like, it doesn't have any like legitimate story going on. It really is just the first first map or whatever. You're a drunken Santa Claus, and it's like, all right, survive for 16 minutes while you wait for like them to nuke the town, and you just kind of you see that little bomb in the corner. It's like they're gonna nuke the town, so because you're causing so much. The longer you go, the crazier it gets. The more
I like seeing the stealth fighter just fly by.
Yeah, because it's just there where it's like the more stars you get, they're gonna call in the military or whatever.
Sure.
And so like in this case, there is no like anything else to do other than cause havoc. So it really is a survival game, and it has like a direction to point you to. And when you get there, it's like a guy selling you upgrades. Like it really is just like a Vampire Survivor sort of loop where it's just like, just keep surviving until you get to the guy, and when you get there, it's going to give you you have to choose your roguelite perk for the moment. It may be a gun upgrade, it may be how well you drive, how fast you are, how whatever. It has an option. The real gameplay is just move. Like the only other option you have is like, do you want to have auto fire, or do you want to push the button to fire your gun? Obviously, like pushing the button to have the is going to cause you a little more drama in terms of you're more likely to just be gunned down. If you have the gun firing all the time, that's great. It's just going to fire in whatever direction you're looking. But sometimes like you're just going to be like in the middle of a bunch of cars, and you're just going to blow it up and cause yourself some heartache. But this is kind of exactly what I expect and kind of want out of like a $5 video game, which is what this is. it's just kind of mindless fun. My biggest gripe is that driving the car kind of sucks because it's one of those push the stick forward to go forward, but like because it's got the GTA kind of camera, sometimes you're not pointed in a direction where that feels natural, and you are still forward and like various degrees of left and right. Like it's kind of an awkward way to drive the car, but it's cheap. I mean, like cheap gameplay cycle, not cheap, even though it is cheap price. But it's just dumb fun. It was a good thing to like in between like playing Doom Dark Ages or something. It's like, all right, I need some whimsy for a minute. And this is it has that GTA 1 and 2 sense of humor to it. So yeah, it's neat. It's a neat little excursion. It's it just feels like it would be a great phone game too. So
oh wow,
because there's very little like you're
is it auto aim or do you have to?
It's kind of vaguely twin sticky. It will sort of, it has aim assist, but like you are using the right stick to sort of.
Got it. Okay.
But the gun does a very good job at just, especially if you have it on fire all the time, you don't have a lot of problems gunning down who's directly in front of you. So.
Okay.
And once you're in the car, it's just like you got the gun firing, and you could just run people over and stuff, and get out of the car to get a fresh car.
That car does look like it's just kind of crazy.
yeah. It's kind of chaotic to drive the car, and part of me feels like it's half and half of just like it's not. It's just like a gameplay mechanic that didn't come together perfectly great, but also kind of intentionally chaotic at the same time.
Sure.
So, fun, very fun. Perfect 7 kind of game, I would say.
A perfect 7 kind of game. I also have a perfect 7 kind of game I'm going to talk about. I have been playing, so I'm a big Ninja Turtles fan. I'm a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. And JJ, I know you are as well. We like to chat a lot about the history of TMNT and looking at my shelf with all my TMNT comics and graphic novels and stuff.
You can see my can of TCRI ooze right here.
There you go. There you go. If don't touch any animals, or else you'll turn into that animal. But I had the chance to get a code for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown. Now, I played the demo of this, when it was on, I think, Next Fest. And I really kind of dug what they were trying to do. And that was essentially like the first section, the first level of the game. And what this game is, it is. So let me kind of give you a backtrack. It's set in the future. I think Splinter and Shredder are dead, and you are the Turtles. You start off as Michelangelo, and you have to kind of find your brothers. And Karai, which is Shredder's daughter, is in the mix, trying to take something from that Splinter used to own. And that's essentially the beginning of the story. There's surprisingly some depth in this. So from a narrative standpoint, it reminded me a lot of that. Oh, that screen going crazy. It reminded me a lot of the that CG Ninja Turtles movie, which was like the fourth movie in the series.
Yeah, they consider it canon. It's weird.
Canon. I think Karai is in that one as well.
Yes.
But so there's some introspective kind of aspects of this, and there's some loss, like they're dealing with the loss of their mentor and things like that.
This looks very much inspired by the comics, by the way.
Yeah, so it is, and it definitely is. It's also inspired. Again, it's a tactical kind of overhead tactical game. It's inspired by, or takes the idea of toys, because the animations are very minimal, and it's basically like a couple frames type of thing. But it's like you're holding little toys and knocking characters off the, I'll get this fixed. Off the off the board.
That one part.
It's just that one part on the screen. So
it has the little Google ad translate thing stuck on the screen too, like over my. I don't know.
I don't see it. Okay.
Right above the Nickelodeon logo.
Oh yeah, it does. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'll get rid of that. There, it's gone. Maybe that's what was killing it. So yeah, so the game is you basically start by dropping in, like Taylor just did there. You start by dropping into a room, and you control one turtle per section, per stage, basically. So the game's like 5 to 6 hours long, and you're essentially putting in what amounts to about an hour per turtle or so. And you're going through these stages, and the stages have yeah, I don't know what's going on here now. What is going on? Essentially, the stages have these areas where there's sort of small rooms. The enemies will kind of jump in, and you can place yourself wherever you want, and you can take them out one by one, and then a new section, the next section of the board will open up. They kind of are like boards, right? The next section will open up, and the previous section that you were in, part of it will start to disappear. So there is almost like a battle royale-ish type of thing, but really the intent is to keep you moving forward. So they're slowly dropping parts of the room behind you, adding rooms forward of the direction you have to go in. So you're constantly moving. There's definitely a flow. And because of that, it feels a little bit like a brawler as well, because, brawlers, it's just a scrolling screen, and this is sort of scrolling from overhead. And it will kind of get hairy in certain situations. What I mean by that is the first couple runs that I was into. So, well, let me phrase this way: you get activity points. It's turn-based. You get activity points. You can, I think there's like 6 activity points. You can move, you can jump, you can attack, and every attack has different things, right? And every turtle has a different set of attacks. A bunch of enemies will be there. You can try to take them out individually, but there are very good chances that you can see in parts of this video, they will kind of gang up on you, and then you're done for, because if they each take 1 tick of life away, and maybe you only have like 8 hearts, if they each take 1 heart away, and there's like 5 or 6 of them on the stage at a time, you can kind of get screwed. Your goal, and you get this later on, is to kind of upgrade your equipment, upgrade your attacks, and kind of do things that way. But I found myself the first couple runs I had of the first the second level, the first real major level out of the sewers, dying a lot. Like, I had to restart it a couple times. I'm like, man, what am I doing wrong? Why am I just getting clobbered by these? I felt it was like a brawler. Why is it not reacting like a brawler? And it's because it actually isn't a brawler. It's very much and different levels do different things, but the majority of the time, you're trying to stay away from the enemies, and you're using the actual environment to take out enemies. Don't attack them on your own. Very rarely, here's my advice, people, very rarely will you actually take on enemies on your, one-on-one. If you do that, there's a good chance you're going to get swarmed, and it'll be over. Parts of the board, you'll have like cars going through on the street. You'll have stuff falling at different intervals. If you can line up your enemies to get to certain places, then the environment will take care of them. So you can actually do less attacking that way. We only have 3 lives too, so if you're not careful, you will get kind of knocked out pretty quickly. So once you start learning to use the aspect of the room kind of falling behind you, the room going in front of you, knowing where the edges are, because you can actually knock enemies off the edges of the board as well, and then understanding where the hazards are, you don't have to do a lot of attacking. Like, once I figured that out, I was able to start blasting through some of these levels, because it was kind of difficult early on, but going forward, after I got through understanding that it's very much managing the environment, like tactical is a good word, but it's not necessarily attack tactical. It's like watching the overall board and knowing how to utilize that board. Now, that being said, so it's actually like less of a fighter and more of positional management type of thing. That being said, you can see it in the video here, there's not a ton of variety in these boards, right? The game is pretty short, 5 to 6. I actually like games that are 5 to 6 hours. I think that's a really good amount of time. I didn't want anything like 8 to 20, or 15 to 20 hours. But there's a lot of repetition of assets in these levels, the same car, the same garbage, the dumpster, the same blocks are in the areas, the same solar panels and vents and things like that. And the enemies are very much the same. So there's a lot of repetition that you end up seeing through there, and it doesn't make it like super exciting from that standpoint. Now the game at its base is a really solid tactical game. You can definitely come up. It's less strategy and more, like I said, kind of monitoring your space. But there is a little level of like, yeah, okay, it's pretty basic. It gets the job done. It's not wowing me, but what it does do is it gets me to feel like I'm playing with the toys and knocking characters off. It's almost like when you're a kid knocking characters off the play mats and that kind of stuff. It's more of what this game is set up as, with a little bit of the story aspect. So not overly deep. I did like the play on sort of the Eastman era of Turtle stuff. I like that there's a little bit of actual character deep dives, a little bit, but I didn't love that it's essentially one turtle per stage type of thing, that you really can't work as a team. Yeah, and the turtles really are. I mean, there's a plurality in the name, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they talk about themselves like they're brothers because they are brothers. But you don't get that. You get that in the story, or you don't get that in the action. And I think that's where sort of the downfall of this is, and kind of sets it back. I don't want to say downfall because it's still solid. I still really liked it, and I can recommend it to turtle fans out there. And I can also recommend it to people who are just kind of getting into the tactical genre, but it's not going to wow a lot of folks. But it is enjoyable. Again, once you've kind of figure out how things function, you're able to get through these levels a lot quicker, and from that standpoint. So let me know if there's any questions, but that's essentially what,
I mean, I bought it.
Oh, there you go. Well, it worked out perfect.
Yeah, I've been playing it. I'm like, it's a new Ninja Turtles game, and it's like $18. It's a new Ninja Turtles game, and it's $18. And I don't think there's ever been an IDW inspired game before. So I was this is very IDW Ninja Turtles.
When he said Splinter's dead, I was like, okay.
This is got it. Yeah, this is post Eastman.
It is. Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant Eastman from like sorry. Yeah. Some character development stuff. Yeah. Some darkness to it from the earlier.
Yeah, especially with the heavy focus on Karai that it has. It really is like the post Mirage Ninja Turtles era of it, and it's I don't know. It's fine. I agree with you. It's fine. It's super like breezy. There's really is.
Like, and again, that's because it's constantly pushing you forward. It's
Yeah, it feels like this started off as a board game you would find at a place
exactly
like the
characters are designed like board game figures.
Yeah,
they look like amiibos.
With this, because I just at PAX I just got the Metal Gear Solid board game, and it has like you place a cardboard board down and you're kind of moving around trying to do stuff. It feels like it's just missing like, if this were a board game, it would be cards instead of just which is kind of what the moves are sort of relegated to in this game.
Yes,
are like cards. It really feels like this would have been easily adapted into like physical space. Yeah, because it is so.
I think
small.
It probably can. It probably still can. Yeah,
it is so small. It is so compact in like the levels, because it's like 20 levels, I think they said, but each one's just like these small little like. It's kind of it's a step above that Hitman and Lara Croft games. You remember those ones, the Hitman Go or whatever the heck.
There's there's no puzzles in this. It's really just move forward, clear out waves of enemies, or avoid them, like I started understanding how to do. And then get the pizza to restore your health.
Yeah, I think a big problem is you went in on this with far less. This is a strategy game in mind. Than you probably should have.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's probably definitely one of the weaker Strange Scaffold games.
Okay.
This is probably. I mean, Strange Scaffold has put out some insanely good shit in the last few years. So, and this one's just like, it's good. It's got a killer soundtrack. I love
soundtrack's great.
RJ Lake is great at this stuff, and But
I think because they're sort of beholden to the Turtles IP,
yeah,
Nickelodeon IP.
Really didn't give him an opportunity to really
to get too far
explore the space. Like,
but
like,
you know, I'm again, I like where I think it has intent, and I think it succeeds to some part. I think there's going to be a younger audience, especially, who's really going to like this because
it's a really good my first strategy game. It's got because it introduces you to concepts that a younger audience probably isn't familiar with. It's in the same level. Like this is even like if you're still not sure how Mario and Rabbids.
I was just going to bring that one up. Yeah.
This is a good because it doesn't. The thoughts you need to go in aren't as strong.
It's not a deep game. Again, great plot. I wish they capitalized on that in the actual gameplay a bit more, but
if only it were click holding.
yeah. But I think good intent, great plot, kind of basic, and it's I don't want to say paper thin, but there's some thinness to it. It's enjoyable if you want to you can get through runs really quick, and you can play this like a brawler is really kind of what the idea is.
We don't tend to go about it at this angle, but also like it is a $20 game. It's not. It's designed to be exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Which is
you kind of know what you're getting when you're playing this. Like when you're like, okay, I paid $20 or whatever. Yeah. It's a Ninja Turtles game, and for sure. Yeah. So
I have a separate thought, which is like how many TMNT games is this in like say a 3-year span?
Let's see, because you got this one, you got the collection, you've got
Splintered Fate, you got Mutant something. There's like a bunch of reports and re-releases and updates. There's probably like 7 or 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7 because
am I missing something about the value of the TMNT IP at the moment? Because it just seems like
valuable.
It seems like I mean, I know it's valuable, but like that's a lot of games.
That movie was super successful a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
What, the animated one?
The animated one, yeah.
Mutants.
And there's Mutant Mayhem or whatever that is. And it's
and the cartoon's doing really well.
The cartoon's doing well, and there's the nostalgia for us old farts. So
it's always super weird because they always like when Turtles is hot again. They always lean in 80s to the 87 Turtles. Like, just make something for the modern Turtles. Like, I think it's aesthetically, if this game was based off of Mutants Unleashed and Mutants whatever the cartoons, the series is called, Mutants Mayhem or something.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know, it would have been cool because the game that they did make released on this that I did review is like, it's okay, it's fine, but like, it's kind of, it's an OG, whatever that game is.
So I got one more quick little thing here to review. Gunnar loves to send us.
Good Lord.
Loves to send us eyewear to check out.
You keep saying us, but I'm pretty sure it's just you.
It's just you.
Yeah. None of you guys asked for it, so they end up. It's funny because they don't tell me they're sending it. They're just like, "Hey, we're sending. Did you get it?" I'm like, "Get what?" Anyways, So Gunnar sent us another eyewear. And this is the Loop, and this is sort of getting into a little bit more of their high-end stuff. The Loop is this is very thin. Look at that thing. It's very thin, right? I'm making noise with my mouth. It's got this cool rounder shape to it. It says Gunnar right there. So this is I don't know where my other go. Actually, the last ones they sent me, the Overwatch ones, are really nice. I use those all the time. Those have become my glasses for when I'm around the house for staring at screens. Like I will put my regular prescription glasses down and use these. Now, again, you can get Gunnar glasses now in prescription, but these are the Loop. This is sort of the newer-ish brand, and I'm gonna put them on right here. They're very thin, very narrow, very light, and very round. I don't know if it matches. My face is a little more square. Let me take this off.
Dally is about to inject serum into Steve Rogers with his glasses.
yeah. I do kind of. There's a little bit of mad scientist in here.
very Operation Paperclip look you got going on here.
Paperclip. But
don't say that, JJ.
Yeah, but no, I love, like, these are the most comfortable ones out of all the gunners. They're the most comfortable because they're the lightest, and the nose crown area here, whatever they call it, that is it's not a separate piece. It's like you'll find a lot of other glasses. They've actually done a really nice job of contouring it, so it's not hard. It's not straight, right? It's not flat. They've got a little bit of contour to that surface, and then that goes a long way because actually it's just touching my nose and pulling away from it right away, which is a really nice effect. I was going to bring these to PAX, and I'm forgetting them, but these, now again, they're not my face. They're not for my face. But the feel of these, and the usage of these. Now, if I'm going to use them at home, maybe I won't take them with me as I leave the house, but because I don't look good with these on. But the feel of these at home, I think, is, I will be using them because they are so like paper thin, and it's something that I think like works really well. And I just found exactly who I think I look like, by the way. And let me just zoom in here. So I'm gonna put this up side by side with me, and I think you guys will see that these glasses make me look like Stanley.
This better be a hit, man. Otherwise, I knew you were gonna throw out some stuff. I was gonna be like, "Ain't no way," and you did not disappoint.
Yeah,
you did not disappoint.
But no, I can definitely recommend these. These are very nice. They had this nice like airy feel. They've done a really good job of making these like paper thin, and I think it's really a nice aspect. They're dipped here, like this part, the sleeve aspect is sort of dipped on. It's just really nice, really thin. Part of me feels like I want to break it, but whatever, because I'm bad with glasses. It also comes with this cool case, which is flat, and then check it out. Bam, bam. It opens up like this, and then it becomes sort of this really nice, cool little. Check that out. It's a pyramid thingy. Anyways, looks cool like stuff.
Some Kojima shit.
It does. Oh, dude, maybe I look like Kojima. No. Cool stuff.
No, they make you look like Armin Zola. That's
Armin Zola. There you go. Armin Zola. Good call. But yeah, the gunner loop. I think they're pretty cool.
You got to zoom in to see that. I paid $0 on the thinning on these glasses. Do you think that that adds some weight to those particular lenses?
Wow. Holy cow.
Thick glasses. It costs lenses, dude.
It costs me over $100 every time I need to get these.
I'm gonna put a beard on him, and that will look like JJ for sure.
I wish I looked half of as handsome as Stanley Tucci.
I think I wish I wish you looked half that handsome.
Yeah, join the club, bud, man.
It's like that's the greatest compliment anyone has ever given me, Dally.
I watched Conclave on the flight over to Boston and back because I just. Anyways, let's move on. We have.
That would be insane if that's a true story that you watched Conclave there and back.
I did. I watched Conclave on the flight to Boston and on the flight back. It was great. It's like the 4th or 5th time I've seen the movie. Zach has something to talk about.
What the heck, dude?
Conclave is great. What, am I banging or no?
No, yeah, you watching Conclave 4 or 5 times,
dude. It's a great film.
I watched a great movie, and I'm like, that's good. And then
but it was called Lilo and Stitch. Let's move on to what you got.
I said good movie.
Here we go. How long is a millennium? Is your first Google search?
Yeah,
way to go.
That depends on what box we pick. So I have a group vote here. I have 2 things that I want to yap about. And whatever gets the most votes is what I'll talk about. So y'all have.
This is one of the most important things I've ever voted on.
I always vote for number 2 if there's a number 2, so I've already voted for number 2.
The Austin Powers fan has logged on.
Yeah. 2 it is. What is it?
Okay. So today we'll be talking about the
One
Piece card.
It was One Piece card game on both. Don't lie to me. It was one. No,
thank God. Okay.
Actually, I should have guessed. I should have guessed it was One Piece or Warframe on the other one.
I just bought a pack of One Piece cards yesterday,
So
I'm
going to do my best job of explaining the rules and how this game works, and kind of just like talk about it, because I think now that we're all kind of dipping our toes into card games, especially Taylor having played Riftbound recently, and I mean all of y'all playing it, or you and Dolly or whatever.
Yep.
And then also Magic and stuff. I think One Piece approaches card games from a really interesting angle, and I want to kind of talk about it, but also I just love One Piece and whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had these two tabs. I had this I had my Warframe tabs up. And I have my One Piece tabs. So generally, so this is a website called Card Kaizoku. It's kind of like one of the resources that people use. And this is this is a general layout of what the game will look like is like this. So you'll have your characters up here, and then your leader, who I'll get to. But I'm just explaining the components. So characters, leader, your deck, your discard, and then your Dawn go here. Dawn are important, and then your life. So on a basic level, every One Piece deck is centered around a leader. So a leader is someone who kind of enables the rest of the deck to operate, right? So in my example, the deck I've been playing recently is Bello Betty. She is a revolutionary army. So her effect is you may trash one revolutionary army type card from your hand, and up to 3 of your revolutionary type characters get, or with a trigger, get 3,000 power this turn. So if you think about it, the whole deck is full of characters with this like tag at the bottom. So like all cards have this tag at the bottom. So it'll tag them in a certain category within the game. So yeah, so decks are kind of centered around that. But if we go over here, so whenever you start the game, you kind of roll or play rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first or second. So the person who wins gets to choose, right? So then that's kind of a pretty big component, because so if you go first, you get 1 Dawn. Dawn is like mana, right? So in Magic, you have to draw your mana. In One Piece, it's given to you each turn, right? So you don't have to fill your deck with any mana resources because you're given. So your deck is just full of gas. Like every card in your deck is just broken, right? Which is fun. It's fun to design around that. So of having to be like, how much mana do I have? How many like cards do I have to let me fetch a mana in case I don't draw it? So if you go first, you get one Dawn, and then if you go second, you get 2, and then from then on, you get 2 Dawn every single turn. So by turn 5, the person on the who got 2 Dawn first has 10 Dawn, which is the max, and you can play whatever within your deck, right? So Dawn look like this. There's also like different variations of it, different like arts and stuff. So, and then here's the life pile. So life is whenever someone attacks your leader, if you can't block it or counter it, which we'll go into, you take a life. So life is like over here, and the way you allocate life is you look at your leader, and on the bottom right it says life 4. So obviously her life is 4, and I can only use red and yellow cards within her deck. So leaders also dictate the type of colors that you can use. So I have 4 life, and so you draw your 5 for the game. So you draw your 5, boom, 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 and then you put 4 over here in life. So then your opponent has their life too. So then getting into actual play, like I would draw my cards, and for example, I'll just put some fate cards over here. So for example, on my 1 Dawn turn, right, I'll put a Dawn down here. For my 1 Dawn turn, I would play Bello Betty, right? And her on play effect is look at the top 5 cards of my deck and reveal a Revolutionary Army type card, and then add it to my hand and put the rest at the bottom of your deck. So almost every deck in One Piece has searchers like this to search for what you need. So there's a lot of ways to get what you want. So there's a lot of counterplay when you're going against an opponent, because you can almost always get exactly what you need to do your thing, right? So, I would play her, and I put her out here, boop, and and then basically I would search whatever, like let's say I'd grab her, whatever, I'll grab another one. But so then whenever a character is played, they can't attack on their first turn. So just like Magic, right? So then I'll put one. Wait, that's my opponent's side. I'll put one on my. So then my opponent goes whatever he plays. I don't know. Let's see. Let me do black. Let me find one. He plays not Brook. He plays this Laboon. Never seen this card, but he plays this Laboon and whatever, right? So this is kind of, so then on your second turn I would get more Dawn, so I get 3, right? But here's where here's the core of the game right here. Let me put my leader out. Bello, she's not black. Hold on. Let me put, yeah, there she is. So my leader, I'll put it right here. Boom. So I'll put my leader out, then I'll do like Blackbeard.
So this is showing both yours and the opponent's.
Yeah. So
okay,
I'm just gonna show like how attacks work, right? Because the way attacking works and the way defending works is what makes One Piece really interesting. So let me get a Teach as the leader, and also I'll show you. So I'll show you a different leader as well, just so you can see kind of like what the game is. Why isn't he popping up? Okay, so on his turn, he can, if he discards a card from his hand, he will negate all the on play effects of his opponent, right? So like if he went and he trashed a card from his hand and then I wouldn't be able to use this because this is an on play effect. So he effectively can turn off a lot of decks. So because of that, the way you build the deck is kind of different because you're like, okay, I could encounter a Teach, so I can't be super reliant on these sort of cards. So like, it's just really, really cool. Anyways, so I'll go into like attacks, right? So Dawn right here. Dawn are your mana resource, right? So like the number on the top left, that cost 1, that cost 2. So let's just say I didn't play any characters this turn and I wanted to attack, right? Dawn, what's really cool about it is it's mana, but you can also attach it to your character and increase their attack, right? So she is 2,000, right? But if I attach these 4 Dawn or 2 Dawn to her, she'll become a 4,000 attacker. But here's the intricate nature of this game, right? I want to attack a leader. The leader's power is 5,000. So I have to be at 5,000 to hit him. So I'll go ahead and attach 3 to her, right? So I'll make her 5. So I'll, put these like this. And then I'll attach this one to my leader, right? So she'll become a 6. So I would swing at him, right? And normally, like, it kind of seems like he would just take the hit, right? That's not how it works. So how it works here is you see on the left, there's counter, right? Counter plus 1,000. If you discard cards from your hand to increase the power of the thing being attacked. So for him to not take damage, he would need to discard something from his hand with the counter of 1,000. So
interesting.
That's where the gameplay comes. Is like, do I want to take this hit and take the life? If you take a life, you get a card, which is good. or do you want to waste a card in your hand that you could potentially need later on to counter out of this attack? And then, so if he, let's just say he decides to counter out whatever, so this would become rested. This is very important. So she becomes rested. I hit. He takes a life, right? But then on his turn, let's see. On his turn, let me find. He plays a Burgess, right? So Burgess has this note, this ability. When you attach a Dawn to him, he gets rush. Well, and so he would attach so rush means he can attack on the turn that is played, right? So since my character is rested, he can swing into her and get rid of her, right? So if I want to keep this character, I would have to counter out once again. I would have to find a card in my hand that has a counter on it, right? So that's the like kind of integral back and forth of the game. Is one, you draw five cards. There's also no hand limit, so you can have as many cards as you want in hand, which is good. So a lot of the communication with your opponent is how many cards in hand, and they count it out, or like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then in the back of your mind you're like, okay, I have the ability to hit at least 3 times. He can only counter out of X amount of times, right? But then there's also a tag called blocker. So a blocker is basically like if he's on your side of the field, you can just use a blocker so they attack that instead. So you can kind of get rid of it, right? It isn't a browser game. You can download a simulator and play it, and you just have access to like all the cards. You make whatever deck and kind of play. But I play in person with people. But yeah, like it's one of those games where it's really simple to pick up and play.
Sure.
Which is a good highlight, but it's also the skill ceiling is kind of not infinite, so to speak, but it is infinite depending on like what kind of deck you pick, because certain leaders have different abilities and different keywords that they have access to, like so just at the bottom, Sabo is like Dressrosa, so there might be Dressrosa leaders who would specifically be able to look for that, and then cards within that Dressrosa type that search for that sort of tag. And then there's just so many ways to build a deck and kind of play. Like black, for example. Black is very it's very focused on you discarding a lot and putting things into your trash. So you discard a lot of cards and put it into your trash. But then there are cards you play that let you search your trash and grab something. So it'll be like grab something that costs 5 or less. So you can so there's a lot of ways to do that, but there isn't any way to shuffle your deck, right? So in a lot of games, like in Magic, for example, you search for a card and then you shuffle your whole deck. So the shuffle is completely different. In One Piece, it's everything usually goes to the bottom of your deck, or it goes into the trash. So there's it's more consistent in that way with how you build a deck. But yeah, it's just so fun.
Wow.
I love the game, and I think the Dawn mechanic is just really smart. It's a really cool way to kind of like give people access to like because in Magic you can build a whole deck and then not see your lands and be like, I can't do anything, right?
Yeah, you're stuck waiting. Yeah.
But with this, is like you're guaranteed to get it. So like, and then it also has the strategic use of, I can attach these to my guys and make them stronger, and maybe get my opponent to discard something they really want to use against me. But then there are also cards that don't have a counter on them, like this Teach, for example. He doesn't have a counter. So that also sucks, because you're like, my opponent's attacking me, I don't have anything. I have to take this hit. The other thing is when you get cards out of life, there are things called triggers. So you can either do the trigger or not do the trigger. So, for example, in my deck, almost every card has a trigger on it. So my life is always going to have something. And like, so this Kuma, for example, if your leader has this tag, you and your opponent have total of 5 or less cards, play this. So I get a free dude for free. So if someone's swinging at my life, I usually just take it because I'm gonna get a dude. Or yeah, so I mean, it's just like there's so much in it, but like there's starter decks that you can buy that are pretty, like, they're not amazing, but they're a really good good way to learn. There's a lot of people that come up to the events that I go to that come with a starter deck, and like it sucks having to play against them because you just you just stomp them super hard.
Sure.
And but the cool thing, at least about card game, like people who play card games are usually pretty nice. And there was a kid who came up to our event a couple weeks ago. He just had a starter deck, and it was like the kid and his dad. So him and his dad are both playing together, and like all the guys who play up where I'm at were like, "Hey, you need this card in that deck here." Like, so like people were giving them cards to like make their deck better. And just kind of like giving them access to the full potential of the game. And the other side of it too is so like in Magic, right? Like really good cards can be rare. So rare cards are seated lower within packs. So it's like that card is going to be really expensive to buy a single of. Or like it's going to be a mythic, which is even more scarce. So like in Magic, they put these like really key cards that most decks, that like a deck of a certain color would need within a certain tier. So they're going to be like a $40 card to buy one of them, and you need 4 in your deck, right? In One Piece, the only thing that affects price is the art. So the art, like a full art, so it's a lot like collecting Pokemon. So the art is what makes it really expensive. So if you want to just have basic cards, you can, and you can have a full deck, and they cost like 2 or 3 cents. They're really cheap, like super cheap just to buy from a person. Or if you want to bling them out, you can get a $20 deck. Like these choppers are always expensive. He's like $5. Or that Luffy I got yesterday. There's so many Luffys. This Luffy, he is really expensive because this set is short. It's a short print. The hit rate, as they're called, like getting rare cards, is lower in this set for whatever reason, because there's a smaller amount of cards. It sucks, but the hit, so like getting this in a scarce kind of print is really good, because this is ran in this deck, and this deck's kind of a monster, so people need this to play that, and I have this and I'm like, hey, who wants to give me $80 for this card? But yeah, so Stefan, you don't need to know anything about One Piece. There's a bunch of guys who play that just, there's a lot of guys that just play because they like card games, so like that's just anything you need, really. Like for me as a fan of One Piece, it's kind of an extra thing, because it's like I want to collect the cards because I love One Piece. Like normally I wouldn't want to collect cards like Magic. I don't want to rip packs. I just want to buy singles, right?
Sure.
But for One Piece, I love opening them and looking at the art and looking at all the cool stuff, and like the way they theme how a character interacts in the game and how he is in the manga is like, I just love seeing that, or just like seeing the art. My favorite character is Usopp, and he just has some awesome cards, and I'll buy any of them that I can. I don't know if they have his alt art. But yeah, like it's just so fun.
I bought a pack of the 25th anniversary yesterday.
Oh yeah, that's the one I was just talking about.
Yeah. I didn't get anything.
EVO2, as it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so yesterday my game store was like, "Hey, we're trying to test this new application we're going to use at the shop. If you sign up, we'll give you a pack for free." I was like, "Cool, whatever." And I walk up to them, I hear, they're like, "Thanks," and they gave me my pack. And I go back, I'm like, "Let's see what kind of trash I get," because by the way, I spent $180 for a box of these cards, a box, right?
Man.
And maybe I opened like $60 or $70 worth of cards. And then I opened up this one random pack and I got more than I got from the whole box. So it's just trash. Don't buy boxes if you don't have the money. Like, I'm just like, I have the money, I can buy them, whatever. Like, but if you don't, yeah. But yeah, and then also pre-release for the new set is next week. Go to your local card store, enter the pre-release. You'll get 6 packs from the new set. You'll make a deck, and you'll just play with those. And then people who are like me, they'll buy boxes. And usually, at least what I do and everyone at my shop does, we just say, if you need anything, come grab it, right? Because I'm not going to hoard cards. I'm like, if you need this, come and grab this card, right? So yeah, it's so much fun.
Cool.
Yeah, let me show you guys the coolest card. Let's see. Actually, oh my god, there's so many Luffy cards. It's crazy. Dragon's so cool. Where is it, dude? I got.
Always love looking at the art and cards. It's just so freaking fun.
The art in these are insane. It started out pretty bad. Like, it just used to be like this, right? And now it's kind of, leveled up. Where the heck is this Luffy card, bro? Let me see. Monkey D. Luffy Gear 5 OP11. Here.
Oh, dude.
I've seen that.
That's sick.
Dude, it's like textured.
Spoilers. Hello?
Shut up.
Hello.
But like, it's textured and it's like raised, and yeah, that card's gonna be hella expensive.
It's gonna be one of those cards where in like 10 years it's gonna be like.
So what? That's what, Luffy, just a special print.
Yeah.
Luffy.
Luffy.
Yeah.
So like
Heathen.
Yeah, so like that card, right? It's just a rare print. Like,
yeah.
You can get the basic version of that card in a pack. It's not going to be like,
That's my favorite way that they do that. It's always the thing that hurts the most in Magic the Gathering is that, like, sometimes some of those cards, it's just the card itself is rare, not just the artwork, but the actual card.
The very like searched after prints are these manga rares, as they're called. They put the manga panels in the back. They're so sick. And like this card is 1800 smackers.
Good lord.
I just saw a $5,000 Charizard at PAX. It makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
wear it around your neck.
It's just as a One Piece fan, it's just so awesome.
Cool.
I don't know. I think that the monetization style of just like of swag instead of rares cost more money is extremely sick and should be adopted worldwide across every game. It was the one regret that I have of when I didn't ask about the League one is what their style was and what they were.
There it is. My friend likes a Disney card game.
Actually, I got a buddy who's a mod on that Discord. So I don't want to. But the other thing I was going to add is that was the other thing that was similar to the League physical TCG, which is that mana is basically I almost said afterthought, but that's wrong. It's built into the game as opposed to being a deck building mechanism. I think that is truly one of the things that holds Magic back is that like making lands a rarity element is just abysmal.
I hate it, dude.
It's horrible because because a land should just be a land. Aside from luck of the draw on mana, like then you have that like certain lands are better than other lands. Just like why does this exist? What I mean, we know why, it's monetization, but it's just like it stinks. But yeah, knowing more games are adopting that method are like the more the better.
Yeah, so I hate to extend this conversation, but I don't hate it. I actually love it. In the Digimon card game, Digimon let's do the Digimon playmat. And
Target
Digimon
can't get rid of those cards, man.
Right.
Digimon, you look up here at the top, right? You see that like 10 through 10,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So whenever like if I played a Digimon that cost 4, like so like if we were here and I played a Digimon that cost 8, right? It would put it 8 over into your mana. So like what the power that I play is the power that you get on your turn. Right. So it isn't a card, it's a physical like tracker at the top. It's like, okay, I played a 6, my turn is over. So you have access to 6. So if I played a 2, you only have access to 2 resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's also super cool. This is what Bandai started. They're the people who do the One Piece card game. They kind of started this like, hey, what if lands weren't a thing? What if you just had them? And it just kind of opens up the game. It just like breathes life into it. It doesn't make it stale.
Yep.
So
cool.
Yeah. I also had this card, by the way, and I sold it when it was at $322.
Attaboy.
So, yeah.
I'm watching.
Anyways, time for let's get into this Warframe's lore.
On that note. No, that's awesome. We'll cover Warframe next time because you've been knee deep in it. You've been shoulder deep in it.
Warframe is probably its own episode.
Yeah, I'm sick that day.
No,
that's every time JJ wants to talk about some retro.
I was gonna say me anytime JJ has any game to bring.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm gonna remove that out of there. Well, that's it for today's episode.
What? Okay, I don't get to talk about games.
Oh, what game are you playing? Yeah, sorry about that. I thought you were grilling.
All right. So listen, but how long do you think it takes to grill chicken? All right, I'm like changing my whole worldview about everything about you.
13 to 15 minutes, depending on the temperature. Continue.
Anyway, all right, I'll go quick. So, main one, I already mentioned it. Clear Obscure Expedition 33. I know Zach played it. I don't know. I don't think either one of you guys did, or if you did, you didn't talk about it.
I played it. Yep. I didn't talk about it before, but I played it.
Yeah. I don't know. Listen, right? then why aren't you talking about it more? Because that shit's fucking fire. Where are you at?
Good. It's so good.
Honestly, the thing that really pushed it over the edge for me was the first time that you hit the world map. Zach's gonna agree with me on this one. Yeah. What's the word for it? I literally did this exercise like 2 days ago. The tilt shifted view style.
Isometric or
no, it's not that it's isometric. So tilt shifted photography is where they use a specific lens style to make things almost look miniaturized with standard photography.
Yeah.
And
the HC2D does that a lot of those games.
Kind of. I don't know. Clear Obscure does it in a way that hits way harder than any of the other games do on a world map style. It's frankly like it's on. I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, going into the overworld map on Clear Obscure was like a 10 out of 10 gaming moment for me. Otherwise, like RPG fare above, like way anywhere from above average to way above average. I personally like the QTE style of RPGs. That's my flavor. Not everybody does.
Spoilers.
Some people. I mean, yeah, there are some heavy spoilers on this trailer. That's crazy.
Just
that
a
they just
launch
threw that
trailer.
they just threw that shit into the launch trailer, huh? That's crazy. But anyway, story sick, voice acting sick, mocap is sick. I don't know that the fact that this, I mean, for me, the fact that it came out of nowhere to me, is like that's insane. I mean, you could say that like, hey, you're out of touch. Totally fair.
No,
but I mean, I don't know. Like,
everybody was so set on Doom that they kind of overlooked this, and then
maybe I don't know. The fact that I didn't know that this game even existed put me into a sphere of like, how far from the pulse of gaming are you? It was like that kind of ratifying moment to me.
It was hard for them to get, news picked up about them. Like I knew I recognized its name. I didn't know it. I just thought it was Expedition 33 up until like launch.
Well, that's what most people called it.
Of the title, huh?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people called it just Expedition 33, which is honestly fair because it's Claire Obscure is just kind of like, why did we put this part in there? Or maybe I'm just like, I probably didn't hit that point in the story yet. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this game rules.
It does.
So I don't think it quite hit me as emotionally hard as it did some people. But otherwise, like everything aesthetically and atmospherically about this game is crazy good. The other thing that I've been playing other than Clair Obscure is, and I'm unprepared to do the review that we are going to provide for it, is Monster Train 2. So Monster Train 2 just hit full release, I think, on the 22nd. Correct me if I'm wrong. The short version that is not going to go as far as published is concerned is that it is very much monster, like in bold, really big letters, Monster Train, and then in smaller letters, the number 2. It is Monster Train, and we added stuff, and like it feels like the kind of thing where you look at the game after you play it and you're like, we got too much material to make a DLC, so we made a second game, and that's Monster Train 2. It's good, and not that it doesn't justify having a 2 at the end of it, but before anything else, it feels like you're playing Monster Train rather than you're playing a sequel to the game that you played however long ago Monster Train 1 came out. So it's good. It's more Monster Train. If you like Monster Train, you're going to like this game because I think that it's balanced similarly. There's lots of unlocks. It's good to play, especially when my PC was dead. Having a solidly running 60 FPS Steam Deck game was really nice, and it does play very well on Steam Deck.
You are playing it at our on.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was playing it in the hotel room. I was like, nobody look at this. You're not allowed to look. This is
while we were recording our podcast. You were playing it. Really
no, it wasn't that bad.
Yelling at Zero to like, you're not. This is important.
You're not allowed. You're just a content creator. Get over there. But yeah, I mean, it was playable on the PAX show floor, so I didn't feel so bad because the assets were at least visible and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. By and large, the biggest changes to it are the fact that there's new mechanics, card mechanics that didn't exist in Monster Train 1. But again, like I said, I mean, anybody who's played a significant mod on, say, a similar game like Slay the Spire, if you played the Downfall mod, you've probably seen similar things where like, oh yeah, I mean, the base game is very similar, but there's a lot of new content. Some ways it feels like that's a similar thing that's what's happened on Monster Train for Monster Train 2. But that does not mean that I did not enjoy my time heavily, which is definitely the case. It's good. It's got the same, like I said, if you played Monster Train 1 and liked it, you're going to play Monster Train 2 and like it. So it's got the same kind of juice.
Hell yeah.
And I don't think, I'm trying to think if I played anything. Oh, I played Blueprints.
Oh, yeah. What'd you think of that one?
So Blueprints is sick. I unfortunately wiped my save data trying to do some finagling when my PC was dead. I was on like day 20 something of Blueprints. Maybe
you were starting to get there.
Yeah, I had gotten to the point where, and I don't think this is a spoiler because like they show this right off the get-go. I had gotten into the White Room.
Okay.
Which is when you learn that like, oh, there's more, there's a lot, you're like,
there's a lot more to this game.
Yeah, there's a lot more to do, but now there's a lot more to do. So I would say you're probably like, it feels like you're 50 to 70% of the way there. And so my save got wiped, which stinks. But at least now the Steam Deck struggles with Blueprints. At least really? Especially, well, so I was trying to play it on, like, my Steam Deck was my computer for the time where my PC was dead. So during that period of time, I had it plugged into a 1440p monitor. So I was like trying to run Blueprints windowed 720p upscale. It was kind of a mess. It's really hard to make that thing, to make Steam Deck push it as hard as it needs to be to not be kind of stuttery. And so now that I've got my PC back, I'll probably be dipping back into Blueprints again. But Blueprints is, if you want kind of the more puzzly aspect of it, then Blueprints is where you're gonna look. It's really good.
Yeah, I loved what I played of it. That was I think it was last weekend. I talked about it a little bit, where I just kind of dipped my toe into like 3 or 4 different games, from Blueprints to Clair Obscur to Doom, and just kind of tried a little bit, taste tested, try to get my money's worth out of this all Game Pass Ultimate that I have running out in about 3 weeks here. So.
I didn't even realize that Blueprints was on Game Pass. I bought it.
Yeah, dude, it's on Game Pass and it's on PlayStation.
Yeah,
that's correct. I think that they like
smart.
Everybody saw that Blueprints had the goods, and so because it was on Steam Next Fest last year.
Yeah.
And so I think that probably the big pubs saw that demo and were like, "Yep, you got it," and they landed the deal. Yep. That's my guess.
Yeah, I think so too.
But anyway, that's what I've been playing.
Cool. Well, let's call it. Let's tap out.
Tap out.
Like they do in wrestling. We talked a whole chunk of wrestling early on. We're wrestling with the food in our bellies from this Memorial Day weekend for those who celebrate. With that said, you can find us SideQuesting.com. Hop into the Discord and join us in there. We have a lot of good times, a lot of good peeps. If you want to join the Patreon, that will be awesome too. We're gonna set up our Patreon only game night. We're trying to decide on the game, which would be funny if anyone ever actually gets around to it. And we're going to be doing our theme week, our very first in a long time, I should say, theme week. We haven't done one of those since we did the 8-bit and 16-bit and all that kind of stuff. So hop into the Discord and find out about that and how you can contribute and have a little bit of fun. With that said, you can find me, Dolly Domovsky, on the socials. You can find, let's go to Zach Quest and Quest 64. He's the Quest 64. There is no other Quest 64. He's the only Quest 64. No. Okay, Quest on the socials and Quest on the socials. Yeah. JJ _J right there. And this guy in the corner here is Grillin. You can find him Grillin, which is always a good time.
Grillin' and chillin'.
Grilling and chilling. Again, SideQuesting.com, SideQuesting TV on YouTube and Twitch, SideQuesting over at .com over at Blue Sky. With that, we'll see you in the next episode of The SideQuest. Toodles.
Bye-bye.